Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Have you guys noticed that the president is awfully quiet lately, just tweeting every now and then, an anonymous tweet that seems to be sometimes foreshadowing to something to come? Well, it seems as though there's a whole lot of suspense and foreshadowing within the current news cycle. So get this. We all know that transition funds were in fact unlocked for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They've been getting briefings, and essentially the transition of office for the Biden team has started, technically. But there's a specific element where it's not exactly going as planned for the Biden team. Pentagon briefings. The Joe Biden team just got blocked from Pentagon briefings. And this raises a whole lot of questions, of course, because it comes right as DNI Radcliffe announced there was in fact interference in the 2020 election. Top intelligence officials, which we covered a couple days ago, claiming that China and other nations meddled in the 2020 election. And this is good intelligence. It's from a reliable source. It's not just some random claim, and it's leading to all-out chaos not only within the Biden transition, but within intelligence agencies themselves that are fractured and taking political sides, which isn't entirely surprising given the current political landscape. But we gotta talk about this, folks. It's of course still shrouded in mystery, but let's try to dig in and see what we can find out. But before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers, so you must be subscribed to the channel and share the video as much as possible. Now with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright, so Chris Krispy Kreme was just on Chris Cuomo's show, and he's urging the GOP to not disturb the Electoral College. Biden clearly won, accept defeat. Which sure, that's one perspective, but one might ask themselves, if it's so clear, then why is this story breaking right over here? Pentagon halts Biden transition defense briefings, Biden team caught off guard. And this report is from Axios. It's not from some right-wing source. Axios reported, Acting Defense Secretary Chris Miller ordered a Pentagon-wide halt to cooperation with the transition team of President-elect Joe Biden, shocking officials across the Defense Department. Senior administration officials tell Axios. Behind the scenes, a top Biden official was unaware of the directive. Administration officials left open the possibility cooperation would resume after a holiday pause. The officials were unsure what prompted Miller's actions or whether President Trump approved. Why it matters, Miller's move, which stunned officials throughout the Pentagon, was the biggest eruption yet of animus and mistrust towards the Biden team from the top level of the Trump administration. What happened? Meetings between President Trump's team and the Biden team are going on throughout the government after a delayed start as the administration dragged its feet on officially recognizing Biden as president-elect. Then, on Thursday night, Miller, who was appointed November 9th when Trump fired Defense Secretary Mark Esper right after the election, ordered officials throughout the building to cancel scheduled transition meetings. And so like I mentioned earlier, this is completely shrouded in mystery. Pretty much like anything the Pentagon does, we have absolutely no idea why they've made this decision. Of course, speculation is that it's connected to DNI Radcliffe refusing to sign off on elections report until the intel officials include damning info on China's attempt to influence election and the claim that the deep state is hiding the facts. And so most of the speculation is that intelligence agencies are finding some new damning information in relation to foreign entities having their hands in the election pod. And once again, intelligence agencies seem to be fractured. DNI Radcliffe is fighting to get them to stop them from suppressing this information. Here's the report from Newsmax. Newsmax correspondent Emerald Robinson on Thursday reported Radcliffe is refusing to sign off on the report until the intel officials include the damning information on China and its attempt to influence the 2020 election. We've heard from sources that there is raw intelligence that is pretty damning and much more expansive on the efforts of China implemented in order to counter a possibility that there would be a Trump second term. The fact that Radcliffe is waiting for that to be included is that there is a portion of the intelligence community that is refusing to sign off or conduct a detrimental assessment of China and its efforts. And so this is where things get real messy, folks. A lot of people felt kind of betrayed by Radcliffe when he said that the report would be delayed, but turns out it's being delayed because it's missing key information from his perspective, and he refuses to sign off on it until that information is included. And the question that I have, which is pretty much always the question that I have, why does it seem that those within Washington and all of these agencies are always bending over backwards to stop information or damning information that would hurt China? How deep does this rabbit hole go? Of course, we all know of the Eric Swalwell story and a Chinese spy who had infiltrated his campaign office. Well, GOP leader McCarthy is fighting because the FBI is stonewalling on all of the briefs to Congress on Eric Swalwell's reported Chinese spy ties. We're talking about the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're talking about the highest entities of national security, the highest federal agencies who don't seem to want to damage China in the interest of the United States of America. I'd get it if it was maybe once and they were just being conservative, they didn't want to put out any information, but it seems to happen over and over again, playing defense for China and playing defense for the Democrats at every single point in turn, who we constantly see CCP have ties to China. It's coming out now that Hunter Biden, the Biden family, Joe Biden's brother as well, all requesting massive multi-million-dollar wire transfers from Chinese companies, having clearly deep ties as a family unit to the CCP. China having a clear favorite as to who they wanted elected in the 2020 election. Many stories and now raw intelligence stating that there may have been interference and the reports are being stonewalled. Now, most of this is shrouded in mystery, as I've mentioned, but there's a lot of intel that's saying that the US was hit by a massive cyber attack of, quote, nightmare proportions. Dan Scanvino calling it a digital Pearl Harbor, and cyber expert Morgan Wright reveals frightening extent of the latest cyber attack.
Anytime you call a meeting on Saturday of the National Security Council, it's serious. I mean, this is almost like a prelude to war. So what you were just saying earlier and what you reported on, not only were the government agencies hit, we've got Lockheed Martin, we've got companies like FireEye, very good, solid cybersecurity companies being targeted by this malware. This very well could have started after the 2018 election, after they were kind of silent during that time. This is Russia's way of getting back in the game. They knew we were going to be looking at them for the election. So what did they do? They took a different tack, and instead they attacked the one system, the one company that had over 300,000 clients, many of those government clients and very significant private sector clients. Yeah, SolarWinds, they have over 300,000 customers worldwide. They said, well, only a small portion, 18,000, were affected. Lou, 18,000, my goodness. This is not just something you say, oh, it's just a minor thing. They exploited the trust mechanism that every company relied upon to deliver, like you said, these updates to patch the vulnerabilities. Instead, they were introducing new hidden vulnerabilities. They said, well, the updates are secure. Well, the updates weren't secure. They were securely delivered, but they contained a malicious payload that allowed them to exploit. We don't, at this point, Lou, we don't know how many. It could be hundreds, it could be thousands of companies.
And so the speculation is that the US is under total digital siege from Chinese entities. And if it was in some way related to the election, it's not exactly something that crony actors within federal agencies are just going to be able to sweep under a rug and pretend never happened, especially with the president in full savage mode and with his very loose tongue on Twitter. Let's just leave it at that. And so as much as I can't exactly speculate on what's going on, what I can tell you is that Trump is to meet with Acting Defense Secretary Chris Miller in the Oval Office at 3:30 p.m. Chris Miller being the man who just blocked President-elect Joe Biden from Pentagon briefings. Clearly, this is correlated. Clearly, something's about to come out which might shatter your expectations or might be the complete opposite and be a total nothing burger. But we'll just have to see exactly what's going on here, because it's not a small matter to block the incoming administration from getting security briefings. That's serious. You would only do that if there was a serious national security risk posed from giving those briefings to said team. That's probably the only thing that we could actually speculate as definitely being one of the reasons behind stopping these briefings. Maybe Joe Biden or people within his inner circle being compromised CCP assets, which really wouldn't be surprising considering the recent news cycle and frankly the trend that we've seen from top Democrats alike across the coastal cities. To pretend as if there isn't a China problem within the Democrat Party is to pretend as if the sky isn't blue. So unfortunately, I don't really have much more than that for you guys, but what I will promise you is that I will keep updating you on everything that is to come. I've said it repeatedly that Hunter Biden, and I believe as well Joe Biden, pose a major national security risk, and we'll just have to see if that speculation or that claim turns out to be accurate. Now I gotta get back to work because there's a whole lot of hypocrisy that must be exposed on a daily basis, but if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. Of course, you guys know the drill. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.